A new Wordle puzzle is online. Click on the link to play.
Listening to the following video may give you clues. Please like and share the videos.
Will a Russian prisoner swap impact Brittney Griner? The release of UMMC Ekaterinburg's Trevor Reed in exchange for Konstantin Yaroshenko has caused some controversy, but there are also some positives to the situation.
The hospital is owned by two Russian oligarchs. Griner is also currently in detention on drug charges.
The Russian prisoner swap could change her situation, said a professional women's basketball source. Trevor Reed exchanged for Konstantin Yaroshenko.
The decision to swap former Olympic gold medalist Trevor Reed for Russian pilot Konstantin Yaroshenko has drawn a large range of reactions from US officials to American citizens. Although the Biden administration hailed the swap as a victory for peace in the region, officials emphasized that the exchange did not represent a breakthrough.
Russian forces continue to press their offensive in the eastern Ukraine, and Western nations are still imposing punishing sanctions on Russia. Meanwhile, Brittney Griner and Paul Whelan are still locked up in jail in Russia.
And while the news has triggered outrage among the community, the family of the former Olympian has issued a statement to express its gratitude and support. Russian Prime Minister Dmitry Medvedev called the deal a historic step.
Yaroshenko, a former Russian pilot, was serving a 20-year sentence in a Connecticut federal prison when he was traded to the United States for Reed. The exchange, which took place in Turkey, was a diplomatic move between the two countries.
Both countries have long since fought over Ukraine, and the broader situation in Russia has put the two nations at odds. Meanwhile, Russian officials also confirmed the swap.
A former U.S. Marine, Trevor Reed, was held in Russian prisons for 3 years.
His release was a result of extensive negotiations between Washington and Moscow. A senior Biden administration official emphasized that the prisoner swap did not alter the U.S. stance on Russia's military aggression in Ukraine.
Despite the mixed emotions regarding the trade, the family of the late Trevor Reed expressed their gratitude to President Biden for helping them bring their son home. Earlier, their family had begun cleaning up his room and took out paperwork from his bed.
Earlier, the FBI discovered a secret document on his bed, stating that it must be a spy. Although the release of Trevor Reed will impact Griner's case, it will not have a significant impact immediately.
Because Russia and Ukraine are at war, the case of Griner is at a completely different stage than that of Reed. And the Russian court system has yet to be tumbling over the case of a former Olympic gold medalist.
And even if the case of Griner does make the news, she may still be held in Russia for years until it is finally resolved. Ekaterinburg owned by two Russian oligarchs.
A list of Russian oligarchs was recently released by the U.S. government.
The list reveals the names of 96 individuals with net worths of billion or more. Two oligarchs who own the UMMC Ekaterinburg team are Andrei Kozitsyn and Iskander Makhmudov.
Both men earned money through copper and zinc mining in Russia and have been active in sports, including basketball. One of the Russian oligarchs who owns the UMMC team is Iskander Makhmudov, a billionaire with close ties to Russian President Vladimir Putin.
The Ekaterinburg players are thought to have enjoyed a pampered existence in Ekaterinburg, shielded from the realities of Russian life and Russian law. Others may have thought of it as an attempt to win over Western business leaders.
Despite their poor safety record, the players have spoken of the loneliness and boredom they felt in Russia. The players' agents and representatives were hopeful that their clients would be safe and able to work in Russia, but the situation changed in early February.
Agents started coordinating with their clients to get them out of the country. Some players, like Griner, have even begun planning to leave Russia for the Ukraine.
According to the report, the UMMC Ekaterinburg pays out millions of dollars each year in salary. Diana Taurasi, who played for the team in 2015, made $1.5 million.
Apart from paying her players millions of dollars a season, the UMMC Ekaterinburg also provides its athletes with top-notch accommodations. Despite being 6,000 miles away from Griner's home in Phoenix, it is still worth taking the risk.
Brittney Griner's detention on drug charges. Whether or not a prisoner swap with Russia will happen depends on several factors, including Griner's current condition.
While the U.S. Embassy in Moscow has cut back services and personnel due to the Kremlin order, The detention of Griner could complicate the situation.
Although she's not a citizen of Russia, her detention on drug charges puts her in a delicate position. Moreover, her detention comes at a time when Russia and the U.S.
are at odds over Ukraine's detention of Griner comes amid an already inflamed standoff with Russia over its invasion of Ukraine.
While it is unclear whether her detention is an attempt by the Kremlin to use her as leverage, U.S. officials are working with the Russian government to ensure that she can access consular services.
Her attorneys have met with her frequently, and a U.S. embassy official recently visited her in Price and Earth. WNBA's season will begin on May 19, so there is a good chance that the case will be made public.
The WNBA players are likely to be under pressure to keep Griner quiet. While Griner's supporters will try to keep the case low-key, the Russian government and state officials will be watching her case closely.
They expect the media attention to increase the likelihood of a prisoner swap between Griner and the Russians who, in addition to the NBA, a Russian prisoner swap may also involve the UMMC Ekaterinburg for Griner.
The NBA has a long-standing tradition of trading players for overseas competition. The most obvious reason for this is money.
If Griner is convicted on drug charges, she could be sentenced to 10 years in prison. In addition to the one best salary, she also plays for the Russian women's basketball team.
The U.S. State Department has already urged Russia to provide consular access to Griner, and a Russian lawyer has met with her to discuss the case. If Griner is detained, the U.S. government will have to pay the cost in terms of compensation.
And it's likely that a Russian prisoner swap will be possible. But it's far from certain.
Impact of Russian prisoner swap on her situation. The impact of a Russian prisoner exchange on the situation of American actress Brittney Griner is unclear at this time, but the strained relationship between the U.S.
and Russia could provide stumbling blocks during the negotiating process. As a black LGBT American who was arrested in Russia for possessing cannabis, Griner has become a political football.
She is now at the mercy of Russian President Vladimir Putin. Putin used an Israeli woman who was arrested for distributing marijuana as a bargaining chip in the case.
The two countries worked out a deal in Jerusalem, which allowed Russia to control an area in the city. The two countries denied any connection between the events, but they did need something from Israel.
The impact of a Russian prisoner swap on Brittney Griner's situation was not entirely unexpected, but the news is important. The American star has been held in a Russian prison since mid-February and has been awaiting trial.
The detention has been extended until May 19 after a Moscow court granted the U.S. Embassy's request for a full investigation of the case.
According to the TASS news agency, Brittney Griner has been held in a Russian prison for more than 2 months after being arrested in Russia for possession of hashish oil cartridges. Her arrest comes amid high tensions between the United States and Russia following Russia's invasion of Ukraine.
The situation in Russia is becoming increasingly complex, and the situation is complicated by a host of complications. So while a Russian prisoner swap could make Brittney Griner's case a lot less complicated, it will not make it any easier for the United States to get its athlete out of the country.
The U.S. government has not publicly commented on the case, but the WNBA has remained quiet about the situation. It is unlikely to be successful until it becomes a global phenomenon.
The news of a prisoner swap with Russia is important to the lives of American citizens and their families. While Whelan and Griner remain in Russian prisons, the exchange will likely have no impact on the other Americans held by Russia.